Months ago, the Batwoman Writers Room official Twitter account was begging fans to sign a petition so that the show would get renewed. They were so hopeful that the CW would go for more seasons, even though it had terrible ratings and viewers were not showing up to watch it. And even with lead actress changes, people still didn't enjoy it. And after all of the begging, the CW officially canceled it. But of course, Yavika Leslie doesn't want to let this show go, and she's come out in an interview sounding pretty desperate, talking about how she has the perfect idea for another season of this show. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So this article says Batwoman star Yavika Leslie thinks she has the perfect idea for season 4. Now, this is a show I didn't initially have hope in. The seasons came out, it continued to get worse and worse. I actually can't believe the show got 3 seasons. I mean, after season 1 going to 2 with lead actress changes, I thought, okay, this is definitely going to be the last season. There's no way they're going to do more. They did decide to do a season 3, but the CW finally said, enough is enough. We can't waste any more money on this. It won't have a 4th season anytime soon, but there were places for Batwoman to go, as there are always loose plot threads to tie up or characters that could grow closer. The show's star, Yavika Leslie, who took over for the controversial Ruby Rose in the final 2 seasons, would have liked to see the latter happen. I think that it's pretty funny now to look at these 2 actresses and see how much controversy there is around them, because on one hand, you've got people who loved Ruby Rose as this character and wish that she had stayed for more seasons, and then there are people who have enjoyed Yavika Leslie and what she did with the character. I personally didn't find anything to really love in Batwoman. I think that they should have just ended it at season 1, left it as a standalone season, and called it at that, because season 1 had moments that weren't too bad, that a lot of people felt were acceptable and just okay, but as the seasons went on, it just got worse and worse. It says, in response to the show's remaining fan base that shipped Leslie's character, Ryan Wilder, the new Batwoman in Kate Kane's former flame Sophie Moore, played by Megan Tandy as Wildmore, Leslie said she wished that could develop. It's not very surprising to see the actress come forward and start talking about all of these wild things that they could have done, but it just comes across as a bit desperate, right? I understand that she's probably upset the show was canceled, she doesn't get to do any more of it, and she didn't get to really finish the show, but clearly it wasn't making money, and after season 1 and all of the backlash season 1 took, and then season 2 and season 3, you'd think she would have been prepared for it to be canceled. It wasn't getting viewers, it wasn't making them money, it doesn't really seem like a lot of people liked it except a very dedicated group of people. You'd think that she would be prepared. Apparently she wasn't, though, and now she's going into interviews talking about how, we had so many ideas and so many storylines we didn't get to develop. It says, obviously, the fans would love to see more Wildmore. I think Megan and I would also love to continue to play that love story, she told Comic Book News.com in the wake of the show's cancellation. She also acknowledged the other characters that could get together. This is the problem with Batwoman, is that she's talking about the fans would love to see more of this. There weren't many Batwoman fans. I mean, if you even go to things like Rotten Tomatoes, and you look at season 3, there weren't even a lot of people who went to give it ratings. I mean, there were a lot of negative ratings there as well, but there were far fewer positive reviews. I mean, if there's fans of this show, they're not showing up to sign petitions, tweet about it, review it, all those things. It says, we'd love to see Mary and Luke maybe spark something. I also would love to see what's going to happen with Alice. See, this is a bit of a problem for me because I think that if you want to talk about getting a show renewed and you want to talk about how much you missed the show and how you were excited to continue filming it, you think that she'd talk about more than just like these romances, and that was like a big part of this discussion, was just kind of the romances. Again, to me, I don't watch a superhero show to see romances constantly. Yeah, a romance side plot is fine, but to talk about this character and that character having this you know, complex romance story, it's just not what people want to see most of the time in something like Batwoman or The Flash or Arrow. It says, as she continued, she praised the performance of Rachel Scarson, who brought Kate's deranged sister, Alice, to the small screen for 3 seasons. It's such an interesting journey to have been able to experience. And the actress has done such an amazing job playing every part of Alice and Beth. Conversely, Batwoman may be said and done, but Leslie is happy with the season 3 finale that proved to be the last episode overall. What we were blessed with was the ability to create a beautiful finale that, whether we came back or not, is very satisfying for all of us. I'm ultimately glad that she's happy with the way the show ended, because there's no way they're ever going to get a season 4 of it, so I guess you should just be happy with what you have at this point regarding the show. But I highly doubt that they're really that happy about it being over, because they didn't know that this season 3 finale was going to be the end of the show completely. I'm sure they would have tied up some other story elements. They would have actually tried to give it a fair ending for the few fans, I guess, that still exist. But the show overall was just a disaster. I mean, it was canceled back in April. This article says, after collapsing ratings and a failed fan campaign, the CW scraps woke Batwoman show. It goes on to show, according to the TV series finale, the show's final episode had an average rating of 0.09 in the 18 to 49 demographic and an average viewership of 458,000, which isn't good. I mean, that was the final episode. If I was looking at these numbers and I was trying to decide if we were going to pour millions of dollars into a show, of course, based on these viewer numbers, I wouldn't waste my time. And as you see, as the season went on and on, viewership just was not good. It only twice surpassed 500,000 viewers for an episode. And the last thing that I wanted to show to you all were the audience scores for this show. Obviously, the critic scores were pretty good. There were a lot of critics who liked Batwoman, who thought it had potential, who thought that it did diversity and inclusivity well, even though they don't talk about how the writing was garbage. But the average audience score was a 23%, an awful audience score. There was no way to make this show good and make this show successful, and that's ultimately why they canceled it. But again, it's not really surprising to see the actress going into interviews talking about how she has great ideas for season 4 and how she wishes that it would get renewed, but I do not think Batwoman is ever going to get a season 4. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.